Hello, I just want to show you something pretty cool I found recently, and it's a city generator by procedural.h.io. I'll link this in the description here, but the cool feature of this is you can export STL files, which you can then take into Blender, essentially making full cities or procedural generated cities. So I think it's a wonderful tool that you can play around with here, the zoom, tensor fields, all of this, but for the sake of the demonstration, I'll just quickly go through some of this stuff. So the tensor field I found is that it just generates these amazing radial patterns around, like, you create a cityscape here. So for example, you can see this thing is moving the axes or the grid points towards the center here. You can change the size, shape, basically a lot of stuff here. And you can get down to the nitty-gritty in terms of like the water main, major, minor, all of this stuff. Wonderful, wonderful things here. But for this sake, I'm just going to zoom in till 3. I'm just going to generate something that looks fun too. Oh, this is kind of cute here. Let's just generate a bit more. I kind of like the radial arrays. Okay, yeah, we'll just use this for now. So the cool feature is if you go down here to download, there's a number of options here. What we want is the STL file. So I'm just going to click that and wait for it to be downloaded. Now you can see I already downloaded something here. So I'm just going to click on this, open this up to model. Let's just extract to model.01 right here, model. You can see that there is a number of things that's extracted, which we can then read in Blender. So I'm just going to copy this for the sake of speed here. I'm going to open up my Blender file. Now I was playing around with a texture already just to get things fast with this demonstration, but what's important here is if we go into File, Import, and STL, which is located right here. Click on that, paste in where your folder was, and we'll slowly start importing these in. I always like to start with the buildings here, so let's just import that in. And you can see right off the bat, it's imported our little buildings with height arrays and stuff. Okay, let's start importing more stuff in. So let's go File, Import, STL file. Let's try the blocks. You can see these are the little blocks that the buildings are sitting on. Let's open up some more. Import, STL file. The roads are kind of cool to see. Here they are. These are the little park roads going around, or maybe like the forestry here. File, Import, STL file. Let's try the domain, which is like where the actual whole scale of a map is. It's kind of hard to see the road. I kind of like this to lower this slightly so you can see where the roads are. File, Import, STL. Again, we'll just keep doing more stuff like this. The river, which is running here, down this way, which you can like either cut in, do some Boolean operations. Again, this is just like me showing you pretty fast what's happening here. Okay, so let's just say you have these set up here. Right now, there are no materials, and that's fine. We can play around with this already. So we could go here, and you can just, start a light source, sunlight, and you can like rotate this up here. You can see it's very convincing right off the bat. Now, I did mention I already created a building material, so I'm just going to click on the buildings and assign it. Like this. Is this the one here? I have to find it. I think it's this one here. And the problem with that is because it is... Oh, is this the one? Yes, this is the one here. It's trying to copy where the UVs are. And it's having kind of a tough time looking at that. So what happens if I do generated? You can see it's a little bit funky here. Object. Alright, seems like it's not working. That's alright. There is a feature in Blender that if you tab into this, you can go to UV, this, and do box. Create a box map based on an image. So I will actually have to create a new material. And let's do new, and let's just do an image based on here, color. And let's just pick this random one, assign. And now you can see it's assigned it properly this way. And this is just a feature that comes with Blender. You'll have to go into Preferences add-ons UV, and it is, I believe, magic UV. And within the magic UV, once you tab into this, into edit mode, UV, and you go to this one and box. There's also best planar. So all of this is selected nicely, but the funny thing is, like, it looks pretty decent on the side around, but the roofs look a little odd. The way we can fix that is if we select the roof material and edit mode, go into select normals. Let's see here, where are you? Select similar normal. We'll select all the roof material. Now we can create a new material and assign it on top. So I'm just going to go like this, new material, and I do have a roof material I've just quickly found somewhere online. Just kind of, I think it's this one here. And if we assign it like that, and we'll go to UV, same thing here, box, and now you can see it's assigned. Now it kind of looks like it's tilted that way, which we can fix. As you can see, the settings here on the bottom, and it's a little hard to see with all the blue, so I'm just going to toggle visibility for that, the overlays, and we can start playing around with this. Now the size, if we go smaller, let's go 0.2, 0.5. Let's rotate this. Nope. This. Yes, this. So we'll do 9 degrees or 45. It seems like it. Really? Let's say. There we go. Alright, we'll keep it at that. And let's go back to this one here. Now, since it's using the UVs for the box planar, I could probably assign a secondary material here. And let's see if it works if I do it like this. It does. So now, I guess I'll just show you how to build the thing here. So we both have the UV map for the buildings on, and we can manipulate it like that. But if you want to randomize it, there is an option in Blender called the Object Info Random. It'll just randomize for each building. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to add a mix RGB, plug these two in, and if we plug this into the base column, if we plug this in here, you can see we either want 0 or 1. And we want this to bounce between the two. But if I put random, it'll only show 1, because this whole object here is one, this whole building is one object, so we'll have to separate it. So that's quite easy to do. We just have to go hit P and buy loose parts. And now, as you can see here, the buildings are starting to separate. However, you can see sometimes it does it halfway because it's rounding out. It's just randomized decimal point. So we can fix that by adding a math function. If we plug that in here and do round, it's always important to clamp it, put this here, and now it's going to randomize between those two textures. That's pretty cool. And of course we can start adding more color tints that way if we wanted to. Let's just plug this in here, and now you can see we have a decent looking city from far away. We can click on this area here. We'll just add a different color. Let's see, a randomized color like this. It almost looks like it could be the sea. I think we actually have the sea. We import it, the sea right here. So let's just click on the bottom one here, drag this down slightly. New material. I'm just going to do a quick cheat where I want this all metallic, lower the roughness a bit, specular, and then I will go to screen space so we can kind of see it reflecting that way. And the less roughness you can see, the more kind of reflection. So if we add a, let's go to RGB, like maybe a nice kind of oceany color. Do that, and within the roughness here we can actually add a texture, but I might be getting ahead of myself here. There's a lot of wonderful tutorials on how to do this stuff, but I'll just do this fast here. As you can see, there's this nice texture that way. We can start distorting it slightly. Let's maybe increase it a little bit more. Roughen this up. Phase offset. Detail scale. Do this. Might be a little too cartoony. Like that. Color ramp. And I don't want it too dark, so let's do it like this. And that'll be good for this purpose here. I just wanted to show you this kind of stuff first though, but like just actually importing the model in and quickly texturing it, because you get something really cool. Now we can go into the world, and if you haven't used HDR maps, it's pretty cool because it'll just start lighting our scene automatically. So if I just delete the sun here, and you can see this world be completely dark, you can't see anything. But if we add an HDR map here, if I can navigate towards one, I think I have one saved in my downloads somewhere here. Yes, let's just use this one here, and you can see it's taking the position of this light source and casting it across, and this looks very beautiful. We can fix this later on. And if I change the texture and we can rotate it on Z, you can see that the light source is changing around. This is how people get those like really nice photorealistic or believable renders and light sources. And we can hide the background a little bit more if we add in a volumetric. So we'll go to volume, plug this in, and let's just lower this to a really small value, maybe 0.08. That's kind of cool, like a dusk. But let's just fine tune it a bit here, like that. We can change the color as well. We can add a little bit of an emission, so it's a bit brighter. Very foggy. We can change the color of the fog this way, like that. And now if we add a camera, Shift A, camera, Control 0, and we're going to use the walk navigation. By default it's Shift F, but if you don't have access to it, you can easily get it through View and navigation and clicking on the walk navigation, and then it makes the controller like an FPS, so you're like playing a first person shooter, or like video game controls. So let's just say I like this view here. Let's maybe use more of a telephoto lens. Let's just up this up a little bit more. Whoop. I've bound that key to Shift Y, the navigation walk. So let's say maybe that looks kind of. So now it's my artisticness, or my artistic eyes, like, oh, how do I get a good shot here? But this is just a demonstration. So let's say like that. Or we can actually use orthographic view and get something pretty cool. It's almost like a SimCity-esque kind of look. And let's back out a bit more. Let's lower the Y that way. And yeah, I mean, we pretty much have like a cityscape here. We can add a depth of field, and what I like to do is add an empty object right here. So that's basically where I want my camera to focus. So if I create an empty object where I want my camera to focus, click on this, click on focus on object, and if I hit empty, you can see it's creating this like telephoto, or like a, what do you call it, like a that miniature tilt shift lens. And we can lower the f-stop to increase the blur, and pretty much have like a little cityscape here. Let's see if we can rotate it. Is there any other cool views we can get here? That looks kind of nice. And let's click on this, and we can try and like, you can see, there we go. Good, nice little cityscape. And then we could use filmic, which is kind of, I wonder if it's default now. I like to use film. You won't have option to this. This is like from the old legacy settings, or not legacy settings, like from older blenders. They removed the film transform, so I've been copying it over because I really like the way it crunches the colors this way. And we wouldn't have all these options to the looks here. So let's see, like this, kind of like this. Oh, let's go back. I was testing out some space here. Interesting. Anyway, that's for a different thing. I forgot I was testing a few things out, but I mean, at the end of the day, you pretty much can make generative cities. What else can you use this with? Well, you don't have to use photo textures. Imagine if you actually painted your own textures and just mapped a whole city this way. I can see this being useful for animations as well. Like if you create a car model, you can see you can run through here. You have basically a whole city set up for you. And you can use this for maps, you can use this for planning things out, maybe for like quick viz dev stuff. I know this would be handy for like some other projects I've done. It's always daunting to do like huge city blocks, and especially with the radial stuff, the algorithms there. Like, look how cool this looks. Like, we could grab one of these buildings and like make this a main focus. So let's just snap it. Oh yeah, another thing is like the origin's a little bit weird, so we have to move the origin back here, and now we can snap it that way. So let's say if we just make this building a bit taller like this, it's almost like a centerpiece now, standing up there. Like that. And then we can get really fancy and add like a light source this way. I'm having fun at this point. So let's say like this. Maybe you want to put this light source over there. Just for something like that. Like that. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Hopefully you learned something. It's really fun. Have at it.